Today we're going to go through bottom bait rigs. Now there's one out and out bottom bait rig that I use all the time, and basically I just adjust it to the fishing that I'm doing at the time. So say for example on here I'm using a size 8 quarter wide gape, a little bit of tubing on the bend, a little bit of shrink tubing over the eye, and 25-pound sheepskin from Suffolk. Quite a nice balanced setup with like the 16mm Tutti Fruttis, and then scaling it up to a size 6 quarter wide gape. Basically you'd use that, you know, when you're fishing for bigger fish in more weedy waters. On here there's no snags or anything like that, so you can scale your tackle down. Right, so I'm going to show you bottom bait rigs. I've got 2 bottom bait rigs on at the moment. And it's the rig that I use exclusively for my bottom bait fishing. Like what I'll do on here, use size 8 quarter wide gape, yeah? I mean basically that's a hook, it's got in-turn point and an in-turned eye, really nice sharp point. I mean they're my favourite hook, Martin showed me them. And I've used those with, like I say, a 16mm Tutti Frutti bottom bait, and it's a perfectly balanced setup, so that's what I'll show you. So all you need, basically, that one's good. Again, Martin showed me that. Suffolk sheepskin, 25-pound. It's quite stiff. You need to steam it once you tied it because it's quite coily. I mean, I strip off probably about 4 inches, something like that. I'll strip off a bit more. Use a stripper rather than your teeth. Right, thread it through the inside of the eye and just do a simple no-knot rig, yeah? I mean, really, I want probably about ½ an inch of the braid exposed. I mean, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you can leave it like longer. I need some sharp scissors, to be fair. Sometimes you can leave it a bit longer, so you're left with a bit about that long. You have a fair bit of movement. Other times you want, like, you know, just the barest amount, like a tiny little section like that, yeah? Just to allow enough movement in the mouth. Like this coating's quite stiff. It's quite stiff properties to it compared to something like the Cam Fusion, which is a little bit more supple. Do you know what I mean? Right, so I'll just do simple no knot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got that much left, okay? Back through the outside of the eye. Always do it wrap from where, if you see on the eye of the hook, you've got where the metal bends round and joins the shank. Always do it from the opposite side. You don't want to bite into that bit where it joins through your shank, yeah? And to do that, right, all you need is Fox 0.5mm silicone tubing. Right, this is the best one for doing this kind of thing, purely because it's quite thick-walled, yeah? Like on a big cast, some of them are quite thin. So this one's quite thick-walled. It's like quite nice, like kind of translucent green, so it's not very obvious. Basically slide that over there. Wet the eye. Push it over, okay? And usually what you want, I've spoken to a lot of people about it, but once you've got the shrink tubing on there, I'll show you how you want it set up. You want about that much with this rig, yeah? About a centimetre, because all you want to do is create a cranked over effect. So to do that, you just need that amount. Over the eye, over the knot. Yeah? You're left with about that much. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it in the kettle. Okay, shrink it down in the kettle, and I'm going to crank it over. You need a pair of like needle nose pliers or something. You hold onto the hook, okay, like that. You dip it in the boiling water. You crank it over like that. Because what we're creating is like essentially a bent hook effect. Which the idea being that when the fish are feeding on the bottom, on bottom baits. Remember I talked in the swim, they're moving between mouthfuls. So they're taking this one into their mouth, and then they're moving off over there, looking for the next one. And as they move off, because of the cranked over effect, it's in their mouth, and it just flips and pulls in. And more often, you'll always hook them in the bottom lip. All them fish that we caught over there, number 10 and that, It's just all on a bottom bait rig, and I was explaining, you know, you could use that. Initially I was using it with a 2-bait stringer, Tutti Frutti stringer, like I'm whacking that out, and that's quite a good presentation. You could use like a little bag on there or something, tiny little bag, a crumbled tootie or something like that, not too big because you'll move the silicone round. But equally, I mean, I've used that, you can leave the hair untied. Basically, you know, you might want to do like a boilie with a yellow topper on top, and that's what I've got out there at the moment, yeah? So you want the hair a little bit longer. Basically, you want the distance between there and where your first bait comes along it, okay, like there, need it to be about 1 centimetre.
Right.
No longer than that. Because that allows it to do the job. It goes in, yeah, allows enough movement of the bait, but not too much so that they could put their mouth around it and make off. A lot of people, matey boy the other day, he said, oh, I brought my rig in and my silicone was up here. You know, he's been done. So you want to shrink it like right down, like with presentations, you just want it to be as subtle as possible all the time. I mean, obviously on some waters, you just can't. You know, if you're fishing for big fish in weedy waters, you need to use a good, strong, sharp hook, yeah? And strong line and a strong hook link, simple as that. Right. There you go.
Very good.
And look, every time it'll always hook in. It always hooks in. They move off and it hooks in.
Yes. £25 March Mirror carp. Thought like Stinky did. Gave a right good account of himself. Beautiful colour, like I say, look at the colour of the tail. He's got another leech on his peck there, even another leech on his tail, so they've been on the bottom and the leeches have got them. They're all waking up now. And the old faithful bottom bait rig has paid dividends again. You saw me earlier explaining the mechanics of a bottom bait rig to Mark. Essentially, as I said before, everything's forced down in the mouth. So I'm fishing like a 16mm Richworth Tutti Frutti bottom bait and a little Enterprise tackle fake grain of corn on top. Exactly the same rig as I showed Mark, like size 8 quarter wide gate, £25 sheepskin. Exactly the Fox silicone tube and the shrink tubing, and a 1 centimetre gap between the bend of the hook, where the silicone is, and the top of the bait. And that was a rig that I had out there.